Yo, what is up guys, Ghost here, welcome back to another video. Today I wanted to just go over a couple of interesting topics that have surfaced within the community. First of all, does Battlefield 2042, and I guess just Battlefield games in general, have any skill-based matchmaking? I know that this is always a hot topic. Many of you guys know that games, I suppose the most famous one is Modern Warfare, right? Call of Duty, that generally has very strong skill-based matchmaking, and so some people have sort of speculated whether there is a mild version of this in Battlefield games or not. So we're going to go over that. I also want to talk a little bit about the current drought in content. As you guys know, we're up to like 5 weeks at the moment of Season 6. There's around 11 weeks, I believe, left of, well, seemingly no content, right? We haven't heard anything from DICE, and even beyond Season 6, we don't know if there's even going to be a Season 7 and a Season 8 beyond that. As always, guys, if you do enjoy the content here on the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future Battlefield videos. We have surpassed 49,000 subscribers, so thank you guys so much for the support there. It really does mean a lot. There's 1,000 to go until the big 50,000. This has been a long time coming, many years of creating content it's taken to actually reach this, and I think we will reach it eventually. Well, at least hopefully, if DICE, put out some content and I can keep on making videos. So let's kick things off here talking about skill-based matchmaking. Now, for those few people at the back who aren't aware what skill-based matchmaking is, basically it's part of the matchmaking system in certain games that will match you up with other players based on your skill. Pretty self-explanatory, I guess. It is extremely egregious and very strong in games like Call of Duty, so much so that in the newest game that's just, of course, released, Modern Warfare 3, I am seeing pro players tweeting out with like 80% win rates because they're being matched up against other people who are right at the tip top in the competitive pool of players. And this basically leads to you having to, for lack of a better phrase, sweat your arse off in every single game just to break even here, and it feels like no matter how you improve at the game, you always have a 1 KD, right? Because essentially, if you're playing, let's say, 64 versions of yourself, right? If you're being matched up against players who are the exact same skill or as close to as yourself, then it's going to be like playing 64 other versions of you. And if that is the case, you're not going to kill them any more than they're going to kill you. So really, if you look at it from a statistics standpoint, you should always end up with like a 1 KD, and you should always end up with a 50% win rate, winning half the time and losing half the time. So the question is, does this exist within Battlefield in some fashion? Now, a lot of players think that it does. I've seen multiple comments here on my channel of people saying that. And this conversation started over on Twitter. And this guy, Mario1897 here, a lot of these posts have been removed by the author, so we can't see the entire thread. But he basically says here, he's talking about the server browser, and he says, we won't get a server browser, I assume he's talking about for the next game, because it would make launching skill-based matchmaking impossible. Of course, skill-based matchmaking officially is not present, but the game experience shows us that many rounds are basically set up for one side to win. I guess that's just this guy's take. He doesn't know that skill-based matchmaking is in the game, but that's just like his feeling on it. And I have definitely had the same feeling myself. There certainly have been times where I have thought to myself, maybe the game does have a little bit of skill-based matchmaking, because sometimes you see those insane clips online and you just think to yourself, why do I never encounter enemies like that who just don't know their arse from their elbow? They don't know what the hell they're doing. They're shooting at the ground. They're throwing grenades at the ceiling. I never see players like that. Everybody that I play against seems to be pretty good at the game. However, Total FPS, aka Kevin Johnson, one of the community managers for Battlefield 2042, did decide to chime in on this, and he says, skill-based matchmaking is not present within Battlefield 2042 to my knowledge, and I've checked a fair bit. The only thing that does happen is that there are some playlists where if you're below a certain rank, you may be match-made with others also learning the game, which is fair. And here I believe it's below rank 10 or rank 20, there's like a separate playlist, which will essentially act as training wheels for the game. And he goes on here in another Twitter post saying that, as I said, the only thing is that there's an extra playlist for newbies to understand the game, no SBMM, no additional HP or armor, no XP boosts, nothing. It's about being fair as much as we can to all and protecting the integrity of play for all. So there you go, guys. If you were wondering whether skill-based matchmaking is in Battlefield 2042 or not, according to Mr. Kevin Johnson here, it isn't in the game. But as always, guys, leave me your own thoughts down below and let me know what you think about that. Now, moving on from that, let's talk a little bit about future content of the game here. Of course, I touched on that in my last video a couple of days ago about when I think the release date for the next Battlefield game is going to be and whether we're going to see a Season 7 or indeed a Season 8 as well. I do find it odd that DICE are just kind of giving us this radio silence and they're not commenting on this at all, especially since we saw the player base increase up to 100,000 players. In fact, at the moment, the player base is actually steadily declining. If we go and take a look at the player numbers here, this is the last 3 months. So you can see here when Season 6 releases, we get up to like, I think around 57,000 players. Then we get the free weekend, which culminates in 107,000 players, a brand new record for Battlefield 2042. But since then, the players have slowly but surely started to reduce in number. Now, they are still sat at the time of recording of this video at about 32,000, which is a hell of a lot higher than it was if you look here during Redux. There we were sub 10,000 players all of the time. So don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining here, but player numbers are going down, and I can't help but feel that DICE really need to speak up and say something or release some content here to keep those players that we do still have engaged with the game. So over again on Twitter, this guy here said, "Good evening to Mr. Total FPS. I noticed that since the start of Season 6 of Battlefield 2042, there are no longer updates every 2 weeks. Like these small quality of life updates have disappeared," and he's absolutely correct there. There used to be an update almost every other week without failure. Would it be possible to have more information about this? And Kevin Johnson has chimed in here saying, "Fear not, they have not disappeared. We'll provide a check-in on where we are at soon and when to expect the next update. Keep those eyes peeled on the Battlefield Communications Twitter account for further insight, hopefully over the coming days. And of course, as soon as we get any news, I will be sure to bring you guys that here on the channel as well." They also posted this little thank you message here saying, "There's never been a better time to jump into Battlefield 2042 with your squad. Thank you for sharing this 2-year journey with us through 6 seasons of fresh content, improvements, and epic only in Battlefield moments. Here's to making new Battlefield 2042 memories together." So that to me kind of reads as there is going to be more content. I really think that DICE, even though yes, it would be a proper classic DICE move to just not put out any more content and be like, "Okay guys, this is the end, Battlefield 2042 is done," I am at this point 99% sure that we are going to get a Season 7 and a Season 8. No, I don't know anything, I'm not hiding anything, that's just my gut feeling. And if that is the case, I really think DICE need to come and announce it sooner rather than later. And this actually makes me wonder what kind of content we could potentially see here in Season 6. Like, do they have anything planned around Christmas time perhaps? Because at this point they have reworked all of the base maps in the game and they've fixed most of the outlying issues. There are definitely still issues in the game. I know a lot of you guys are still suffering from like the black screen bug. There are mouse input issues that honestly I don't think will ever be fixed. But outside of those things, those are not really content, right? When we think about content, the only thing I can really see them bringing are new maps. And since we've only been getting one single map each season, I don't really see them bringing another map with Season 6 here. But you do have to wonder what Battlefield 2042 would have been like had the live service had more maps. I mean, just look at Redacted, look at the popularity of that map and how much it's done for the game overall. And that was just one single map. Imagine if Season 6 had 2 maps, or 3 maps, or dare I say it, even 4 maps in it. That would have been absolutely insane. If DICE are planning to make the next game a live service game, and I'm almost 100% sure that that is their plan, then they really need to look back at 2042 as a lesson and come to the realization that this amount of content is just not enough. It's just not enough, man. We need more. Guys, as always, leave me your thoughts down below. Do you think we're going to see a Season 7 and 8? And what do you think about skill-based matchmaking? Do you think it is in Battlefield? Do you think it belongs in or out of Battlefield? Leave me all of those down below. Otherwise, thank you guys so much for watching the video today. Leave a like if you enjoyed and subscribe for more Battlefield content. Special thank you to my members and Twitch subs for their additional support. Have a good one, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.